Hello, my name is Cole Smith, and I'm here to do the current event summary number 3. This one is over the pros and cons of uh, self-driving trucks and like how they can be implemented. So I'll begin with the pros. So the first one I have is increased safety. It is true that it is a new technology, so there will be glitches. That is prone to happen, but 90% of road accidents are caused by human error. So taking that aspect out of driving would highly increase the safety of the road. It also, second, it has lower long-term costs. Over time, it will cost less to maintain and keep the trucks on the road than if we had real people doing it, because the real people have needs and robots do not. Which leads into my third point about 24/7 operation. Um, Even though it is true that truckers usually drive like almost 24 hours, they are legally required to pull over and sleep if they start swerving, because it's a safety hazard for them and everyone else on the road. So if we took away that aspect, you could just drive them all night. Supply chain could go a lot smoother if you have 24/7 operation of the transportation of these goods. Um, and then fourth, it addresses the driver shortage. Not a lot of people want to be away from their families for months on end, driving for, hour like 16, 18 hours a day. Well, that's probably an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. People don't really want to do that, so there is a shortage of truck drivers right now, and that would address it because if you have a robot, you don't have to hire anybody to do it. And fifth, it would boost supply chain efficiency because it takes out a bunch of set costs for a bunch of companies. They wouldn't have to pay labor. They wouldn't have to deal with any mistakes that a person would make to the truck or on the road, all of that. They wouldn't have to have, well, actually they would, but they would have to have less insurance because they don't have to cover a person. I think anyway. But now we'll talk about the cons. The first one will be, it's pretty obvious, the job loss for the current truck drivers. Anytime you introduce a new technology that does something that humans already do, there's going to be a loss of jobs in that market. It's pretty much unavoidable. Um, Second, we'll have technical and environmental limits. It's already kind of difficult to drive an 18-wheeler in smaller towns, on steep roads that aren't very paved very well, and it's one of the pros of the human element is that they become accustomed to that over time, so they know how to deal with it, especially with their own personal truck that they've been driving forever. Excuse me. So it would be highly limiting for robots to drive on certain roads because they just don't have that human element of reaction and just know-how unless it's programmed, but even then it could glitch out. And technical, obviously it's a new emerging technology, so it's not very it's not very set in stone yet. It's not very well developed. Third, it would be very expensive. Anytime you introduce technology like that, especially one that has such margin for error, you really have to spend a lot of money getting that down so there's no glitches, because any glitch could be a person's life. That truck hits them full on going 70, 80 miles an hour, they're done. So it is very expensive to develop. There are legal and regulatory hurdles as well. Like I just said, if that thing glitches and hits a family of four, there is no longer a family of four. So there has to be legal repercussions set in place, especially for companies that, how should I say, neglect their safety. They need to be prosecuted for that. And then the last one will be cybersecurity and ethical issues. Obviously, if you have a self-driving truck, then you have to have some kind of software to keep that going. So it is, if it's going, especially if it's going 24/7, it is very prone to cyber attacks. Like if you had a certain destination in mind, somebody could just change that destination. And ethical, I mean, it is always an ethical issue replacing humans with robots because we're humans and we want jobs. So it's always going to be an ethical issue. But that's my 5 minutes. Thank you, and have a good day.